Alrighty, Rio here, and it is week 7 in our class. So we are 2 weeks away from the mid part of the semester. And one question I generally get is there a midterm for this class? And the answer is no. Part of the philosophy of this class is that you do work each week that moves us to the end of the semester as far as the content we need to cover and the skills we're hoping you acquire. But there's not a midpoint that we go, let's test to see how well you're doing. It's really about working consistently, and again, I don't want to, every instructor, every subject matter has a little different view on how they look at success. For us in this class, it's like, are you working consistently towards the goal? And that goal is represented by each week. Okay. So now, and I almost don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this anyway because I want full disclosure, which I would hope you would want. Now, these items, like I'm looking here at week 7, and it's been true for every week. So I'm just going to remind you of a couple things. One is that I do accept late work. I talked about that in the week that you just finished. And so it's a good reminder that if you submit work after the due date, it is discounted 25% of the possible points, but it's better than not getting any points. The other thing, and again, the reason I hesitate doing this is because I don't want you to lean upon this, but sometimes I understand life just does this, is like I grade the following morning after a due date. So for you all, your due dates are Monday night, unless we have a holiday and then it's Tuesday. So I really grade for the most part, and I'm doing this on a Tuesday morning. Okay. So what does that mean? That means I get up pretty early. I grade actually before I go do my workout in the mornings, which I do work out. I love working out. It really helps me focus. Like, what do you do that helps you focus? That might be one of the ways you could reply here. But anyway, coming back, then I grade and then I redo this. But here's the deal. If you submit your work, even though the due date is set at midnight, as long as it's there when I get up the next morning to grade, I consider it on time. So if your life is such that you just can't look at this work until then, I want you to know that. The other thing I would say to you is I don't recommend working this way. And I suspect you've heard me talk about this, right? Is like, don't only work on this class one day a week. Matter of fact, again, if it was me, I would work on the My IT Lab stuff earlier in the week and leave the other for later, maybe, like the chapter quizzes and the discussion boards. So that's just my suggestion. So before I go over the work, I want to tell you something that I think some people may not know or may not see. And I'm going to change my course view for just a second to something that looks a little more like yours. Student view, which would make sense, right? So here we are in week 7, right? So, actually I haven't published 7 yet. But in this case, when you go to grades, the one thing is you should see a number if I just graded something, okay? And you can see your score. You can also test a different score. So this is a great feature that you can say the what if scenario. So what if I complete this work late, right? If there's 20 possible points, right? Then if I complete it late, what percentage would I get? You could figure that out. Now, I'm not saying this is what it is, but you could put in a number, 10, 15. And what it would do is it would recalculate your grade. Now, by the way, this is just a student account I have, so know that that's true. So what this also does is it allows, and again, the what if grade, the what if scenario, and it can revert to the original grade. By doing this, it will revert if you get out, I think, anyway. So first I want you to know that, because one of the questions I get is, Rio, how do I pass this class? What do I need to get? And the answer is in Canvas for you. You can figure that out on your own. And that's one of the reasons I love Canvas. And I noticed one of you use Canvas as your favorite app, which is awesome. So here's the other thing, is that I will put comments in your grade. right? Sometimes they're short and sweet and just good job, right? But often they're, do you know you can't pass this class without doing the My IT lab work? And of course, that's on the My IT lab stuff. So you can't. I've talked about it. If you want to know about it, reach out to me, right? So, and I noticed there's a good part of you on Discord. So hopefully, if you're having, you can also reach out for help out there for your classmates. And the more of you that are on Discord, the better that environment or that app will be. It's like the idea of a net effect, right? So the more of you out there, the better support that will be provided. Because after a certain time in the early evening, I'm not around. As you can tell, I'm an early morning gal. So, but back to this. So this, you might not might you want to look at my comments about this so that you understand maybe what you missed, right? Or what you need to do differently, because it's important that you understand what those are. And if there's, feedback, I don't know. Do you find feedback helpful? Hopefully you do. I mean, that's the reason we give it. So make sure you understand how to get there. Okay? And again, this gives the breakdown, right? So every week in the start here's those are attendance. I use them for attendance reporting. They do not count towards your grade. They're really important to do. The discussions are 20, the quizzes are 25, the labs are 30, and the practical tests, which you just finished your first one, are a total of 15. So that might be actually the reply for today is, how did that practical exam go for you, right? Hopefully you watch my video showing you how to do better on those things in general. Okay, so let's just briefly, just here for a minute, talk about what we're going to do for this week. Let me go ahead and leave this. Scroll to the bottom. I've already set up. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and publish it during this video, so now it is available. Right, so there's a really good mini lecture from Brian about choosing a computer, and it's a little bit dated, this content, but the concepts are solid. And I'm telling you, it's understanding this concept of how to go about purchasing computers, what things you look at, are really important. And of course, these days we have so many choices as far as what types of device. And answering the question that he poses in here as far as how are you going to use it? What are the things that you're going to do? Because part of it may be, of course, I suspect a big part of it may be working on your schoolwork, but there is going to be other things that you're going to want to do. If you're a gamer, if you're a gamer, there may be an opportunity for you to want to buy a bigger processor, RAM, and all those things for your gameplay. Right? If you do video production, if you do graphics, if you do CAD, which is the ability to render things, possibly 3D rendering, right? So understanding this is just good content. And this Moore's Law is something that we always try to help students understand. The pace of change. And this is sometimes dizzying when we think about how quickly computer processors are improving. And Brian gives a shout out to that. It's kind of slowing in pace. We're finding other ways to make the user experience faster. But understanding this idea of Moore's Law can really be good conversation if you're at a, and I think I mentioned this in week 6 as well, like you happen to be at a place where you're having conversation. Yes, that will happen on our world again at some point. But you talk about, hey, do you know about Moore's Law? Do you know that computers double in speed about every 2 years or 18 months? Wow. Hard to believe. But the key is also that Moore's Law doesn't only affect a processor, it can also affect other areas. The one area we wished it would affect would be internet speed, that we would see a vast improvement in that area. So anyway, good content. Please consume it. The discussion board this week is a good one. Because, and I highly, and I know, these videos you don't always have to consume to do the discussion, but I tell you, they make your discussion board more complete, comprehensive. So do them. But this is the idea of how to look at different majors as far as, your overall in the modern economy. How do you navigate that? What career are you looking at? What college degree? How does that pay off over time? What is that earning? So, it's a really helpful information, and many students don't know about some of these links to look at this. So definitely check this out. Do look at the video. Make sure you're writing a substantive post and replying with a substantive reply. Okay. I talked about that last week. Okay. So moving on, we're back to our regular schedule. Now that we've finished our first one, you have your chapter quiz and you have your Excel lab 2. Okay, so we'll move through the Excel content very much like we did through the Word 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have a lab test, and we'll do the same with Excel. Okay, all right, have a great week. In this particular week that I'm recording this in, the fires in California and really many of the Western states have been horrific. So I just send so much gratitude to our firefighters, our first responders, our healthcare system. It's hard to, I think, look at the world and understand it right now. And there's something to be said for just getting your work done and moving forward. And I know that sometimes can sound like a gigantic task, but you got this. You and I got this. We can do this. We can navigate this. I mean, there's a reason you're here. There's a reason you're working to improve your life. So staying on task and staying on focus couldn't be more important than it is right now. I pay attention, make sure I understand it, and then I return to my job and I do it. And I sometimes just kind of use that as a way also to focus away from what's happening, because it just allows me to go in to a different place sometimes, right? Okay, enough from me. Week 7 is up. Talk to you soon.